Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A social unit living together. He moved his family to Virginia. People descended from a common ancestor. His family has lived in Massachusetts since the Mayflower. A loose affiliation of gangsters in charge of organized criminal activities. A person having kinship with another or others. He's family. An association of people who share common beliefs or activities. The message was addressed not just to employees but to every member of the company family. A collection of things sharing a common attribute. Primary social group, parents and children. He wanted to have a good job before starting a family. Biology, a taxonomic group containing one or more genera. Sharks belong to the fish family. Baseball, base consisting of a rubber slab where the batter stands. It must be touched by a base runner in order to score. He ruled that the runner failed to touch home. An institution where people are cared for. A home for the elderly. A social unit living together. The teacher asked how many people made up his home. Inside the country. Where you live at a particular time. Deliver the package to my home. The place where you are stationed and from which missions start and end. Housing that someone is living in. They raise money to provide homes for the homeless. An environment offering affection and security. Home is where the heart is. Place where something began and flourished. The United States is the home of basketball. Provide with, or send to, a home. Return home accurately from a long distance. The country or state or city where you live. Canadian tariffs enabled United States lumber companies to raise prices at home. Used of your own ground. A home game. Relating to or being where one lives or where one's roots are. My hometown. Provide housing for. The immigrants were housed in a new development outside the town. A social unit living together. It was a good Christian household. The members of a business organization that owns or operates one or more establishments. He worked for a brokerage house. Astrology, one of 12 equal areas into which the zodiac is divided. A building where theatrical performances or motion picture shows can be presented. The house was full. A building in which something is sheltered or located. They had a large carriage house. A dwelling that serves as living quarters for one or more families. He has a house on Cape Cod. An official assembly having legislative powers. A bicameral legislature has 2 houses. Aristocratic family line. Contain or cover. This box houses the gears. Play in which children take the roles of father or mother or children and pretend to interact like adults. The children were playing house. The audience gathered together in a theater or cinema. The house applauded. The management of a gambling house or casino. The house gets a percentage of every bet. The members of a religious community living together. A social unit living together. It was a good Christian household. A social unit living together. People descended from a common ancestor. People in general, often used in the plural. They're just country folk. People descended from a common ancestor. The traditional and typically anonymous music that is an expression of the life of people in a community. A social division of, usually preliterate, people. People descended from a common ancestor. People descended from a common ancestor. People descended from a common ancestor. The month following August and preceding October. People descended from a common ancestor. A loose affiliation of gangsters in charge of organized criminal activities. A loose affiliation of gangsters in charge of organized criminal activities. Press tightly together or cram. An association of criminals. A disorderly crowd of people. An association of companies for some definite purpose. A loose affiliation of gangsters in charge of organized criminal activities. A news agency that sells features or articles or photographs etc. to newspapers for simultaneous publication. Join together into a syndicate. The banks syndicated. Organize into or form a syndicate. Sell articles, television programs, or photos to several publications or independent broadcasting stations. A person having kinship with another or others. He's kin. Group of people related by blood or marriage. Related by blood. A person having kinship with another or others. An association of people who share common beliefs or activities. The church welcomed new members into its fellowship. The state of being with someone. Money granted, by a university or foundation or other agency, for advanced study or research. A collection of things sharing a common attribute. A general concept that marks divisions or coordinations in a conceptual scheme. A body of students who graduate together. The class of 97. People having the same social, economic, or educational status. The working class. Arrange or order by classes or categories. How would you classify these pottery shards? Are they prehistoric? Education imparted in a series of lessons or meetings. Flirting is not unknown in college classes. A body of students who are taught together. Early morning classes are always sleepy. A collection of things sharing a common attribute. There are two classes of detergents. A league ranked by quality. He played baseball in Class D for 2 years. Biology. A taxonomic group containing one or more orders. Elegance in dress or behavior. She has a lot of class. Primary social group. Parents and children. An organization regarded as part of a larger social group. An organization regarded as part of a larger social group. The coach said the offensive unit did a good job. Any division of quantity accepted as a standard of measurement or exchange. The dollar is the United States unit of currency. An assemblage of parts that is regarded as a single entity. The team is a unit. A single undivided natural thing occurring in the composition of something else. Units of nucleic acids. An individual or group or structure or other entity regarded as a structural or functional constituent of a whole. Reduced the number of units and installations. A single undivided whole. An idea is not a unit that can be moved from one brain to another. An eye having a single lens. The descendants of one individual. A tree diagram showing a reconstruction of the transmission of manuscripts of a literary work. Inherited properties shared with others of your bloodline. The descendants of one individual. A dissolute man in fashionable society. The descendants of one individual. People viewed as members of a group. We need more young blood in this organization. Smear with blood, as in a hunting initiation rite, where the face of a person is smeared with the blood of the kill. Temperament or disposition. A person of hot blood. The fluid, red invertebrates, that is pumped through the body by the heart and contains plasma, blood cells, and platelets. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients to the tissues and carries away waste products. The descendants of one individual. The descendants of one individual. Ancestry of a purebred animal. A downward slope or bend. The descendants of one individual. The kinship relation between an individual and the individual's progenitors. Properties attributable to your ancestry. A movement downward. The act of changing your location in a downward direction. A course of reasoning aimed at demonstrating a truth or falsehood. The methodical process of logical reasoning. I can't follow your line of reasoning. A slight depression or fold in the smoothness of a surface. His face has many lines. Mechanical system in a factory whereby an article is conveyed through sites at which successive operations are performed on it. A connected series of events or actions or developments. Historians can only point out those lines for which evidence is available. The road consisting of railroad track and roadbed. A conceptual separation or distinction. There is a narrow line between sanity and insanity. A succession of notes forming a distinctive sequence. A conductor for transmitting electrical or optical signals or electric power. The principal activity in your life that you do to earn money. He's not in my line of business. Make a mark or lines on a surface. Draw a line. Often plural, a means of communication or access. Lines of communication were set up between the two firms. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. Space for one line of print, 1 column wide and 1/14 inch deep, used to measure advertising. A short personal letter. Drop me a line when you get there. A telephone connection. Be in line with, form a line along. Trees line the riverbank. The maximum credit that a customer is allowed. A particular kind of product or merchandise. A nice line of shoes. A pipe used to transport liquids or gases. A pipeline runs from the wells to the seaport. A commercial organization serving as a common carrier. Acting in conformity. In line with. A formation of people or things one behind another. The line stretched clear around the corner. A formation of people or things one beside another. The line of soldiers advanced with their bayonets fixed. A fortified position, especially one marking the most forward position of troops. They attacked the enemy's line. A length, straight or curved, without breadth or thickness, the trace of a moving point. A mark that is long relative to its width. He drew a line on the chart. A single frequency, or very narrow band, of radiation in a spectrum. A spatial location defined by a real or imaginary unidimensional extent. Cover the interior of. Line the gloves. Fill plentifully. Line one's pockets. In games or sports, a mark indicating positions or bounds of the playing area. Mark with lines. Sorrow had lined his face. Persuasive but insincere talk that is usually intended to deceive or impress. Let me show you my etchings as a rather worn line. Reinforce with fabric. Lined books are more enduring. Something, as a cord or rope, that is long and thin and flexible. A washing line. Text consisting of a row of words written across a page or computer screen. The letter consisted of 3 short lines. The descendants of one individual. The kinship relation between an individual and the individual's progenitors. The number of lines in a piece of printed material. Inherited properties shared with others of your bloodline. The descendants of one individual. His entire lineage has been warriors. A rate of payment for written material that is measured according to the number of lines submitted. The kinship relation between an individual and the individual's progenitors.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.